Good day, everyone. This is Jen's fashion channel. Thanks all my amazing fans and subscribers. This channel is all about leveling up on your fashion designing skill. And today, I'll be teaching you how to make an off-shoulder bustier dress with Basque waistline. So if it is what you are all about, you are definitely at the right place. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, now will be a very good time for you to smash on the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. Without further ado, let's jump right in, shall we? The first thing is to draw a line as my baseline. This is an off-shoulder top, so I'm using 6 inches as my neckline. So I'm going to place my tape like this, taking 6 inches off. So the next thing is to get my bust line. So I'm going to come down by 10.5 inches for my bust line, and I will mark it and draw the line. The next thing is to get my under bust line. And for me to get my under bust line, I will come down from my bust line by 3.5 inches. But if you're of a smaller size, you come down by 3 inches. If you're of a bigger size, you come down by 4 inches. And I will mark it and draw the line. The next thing is to get my waistline. So I'm going to come down by 17 inches. I will mark it and draw the line. Then the next thing is to get the Basque line for the Basque effect. So I'm going to come down from my waistline by 6 inches. You can come down by 7 inches. Then I will mark it and draw the line. I'll go ahead and label the lines. Then the next thing is to get my nipple to nipple measurement. And my nipple to nipple measurement is 7. I will divide it by 2. It will give me 3.5. Then I will add half an inch for joining to give me 4. I will mark it on the bust line, on the under bust line, and the waistline. Then I will connect with a straight ruler. The next thing is to get my under bust dart. And for me to get my under bust dart, I will measure the difference between my bust line to my under bust line. It will give me 3.5 inches. So I'm going to divide the 3.5 inches by 2. It will give me 1.75 inches. Then I'm going to divide the 1.75 inches by 2 again. It will give me 0.88 inch. So I'm going to take the 0.88 inch to the left and 1.75 to the right. Are we on the same page? If the difference between your bust line and your under bust line is 4, you are going to divide the 4 by 2. It will give you 2. You divide the 2 again by 2. It will give you 1. You take 1 to the left and take 2 to the right. Then I'm going to come down by 1 inch from my bust point. This is to remove any form of pointiness on the bust area. I'll mark it. Then I'll connect it to the under bust dart like so. Then for the neckline, I'm going to measure what I have on my bust line. That's my nipple to nipple measurement plus half an inch allowance. I have 4 inches there. So I'm going to add 1 inch to it, making it 5 inches. So I'm going to mark it on my neckline. So I'm going to connect it to the bust point like this. Then for the over bust tightening, I'm going to go in by 1 inch and go out by 1 inch. Then I'm going to come up by half an inch from my bust point. Then I'm going to connect it to the over bust dart. Then I'm going to connect this my under bust dart straight down to my waistline like so. So I'm going to measure my 2 curves to ensure that they are equal. After measuring, I found out that the one at the right side is bigger than the one at the left side with about half an inch. So I'm going to extend the one at the left side with half an inch to ensure that they are equal, so that one curve will not be bigger than the other. Then the next thing is to get my neck curve, and I'm going for a sweetheart neck curve. So I will go down by 2 inches from my neckline. It purely depends on you. You can go down by 3 inches. You can go down by 1 inch. So I'm going to mark it and connect it to my over bust dart. You can still go for a block curve if you want. You can still maintain this your neckline if you want. It purely depends on you. Then the next thing is to take my shoulder measurement, divide by 2. My shoulder measurement is 16 divided by 2, 8. Then I'm going to minus 1.5 inches from it because this is an off-shoulder top. It will give me 6.5 inches. I'm going to replace this dart intake, which is about 2 inches. It will give me 8.5 inches. I will mark it here. Then the next thing is to get my armhole line. And for me to get my armhole line, I will take my bust measurement, which is 40, divide by 6 plus 1.5 inches. It will give me about 8.1 inches. So I'm going to take 6 inches off like this. Remember, this is an off-shoulder dress. So I'm going to take 6 inches off like this. Then I'll come down by 2.1 inches from my neckline. I'll mark it. And I'll go ahead and connect like so. Then I will draw a line like this as my chest line. Then the next thing is to get my armhole curve. And for me to get my armhole curve, I'm going to take my bust measurement divided by 4. My bust measurement is 40 divided by 4. It will give me 10. I will mark it on this my chest line. And I'm going to add 2 inches for joining allowance. Then I'll go ahead and connect like so. Then I'll connect the dart to the Basque line like so. Then I'll impute my body measurement. For the bust measurement and working weight is 40. I'm going to divide it by 4. It will give me 10 inches. Then I will add 2 inches for same allowance. It will give me 12. I will mark it. Then for the underbust, I will take my underbust measurement, which is 32 inches. I will divide it by 4. I'm going to replace this 2.63 dart intake here. Then I will add 2 inches for same allowance. I will mark it. Then for the waistline, I'm going to take my waist measurement divided by 4. Then I'm going to replace this dart intake here plus 2 inches for same allowance. I will mark it. Then on this my waistline, I will come down by 1 inch. You can come down by 2 inches. You can still maintain this your waistline. Okay? Then I'm going to connect it to this my Basque line to give it that Basque effect like so. Then I'll go ahead and measure these two lines to make sure that they are equal. So after measuring, I found out that the one at the left side is bigger than the one at the right side with half an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and extend the one at the right side with half an inch to ensure that they are equal. Because if you cut without extending, you'll find out that the lines will not align. Then I'm going to connect like so. So guys, this is all for drafting. Follow me closely. Let's cut. So guys, this is it for the front panel. You can see how perfect it came out. I now move over to the back panel. The first thing is to draw a line as my baseline. Then I will come down by 10.5 inches for my bust line. Remember, this is an off-shoulder top. We are going to take 6 inches off like we did on the front panel. Then I will mark it. Then I will come down by 17 inches for my waistline. I will mark it. Then I will add half an inch for my joining allowance. I will mark it. I will go ahead and draw the lines. Then I will take 1.5 inches for my zipper allowance. You can use 1 inch. It purely depends on you. Then I'm going to take my shoulder measurement. And my shoulder measurement is 16 divided by 2, 8. I'm going to minus 2.5 inches from it. It will give me 5.5 inches. I will mark it. Then the next thing is to get my armhole line. So I'm going to take 6 inches off like we did on the front panel. Then I'll come down by 2.1 inches from my neckline. I'll mark it. Then I'll connect like so. Then I will draw a line on the armhole end point like so as my chest line. Then the next thing is to get my armhole curve. So I'm going to take my bust measurement, divide by 4. I will mark it. And I will add 2 inches for same allowance. Then I will connect. Then the next thing is to take my nipple to nipple measurement. And my nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2, 3.5 inches. I will mark it. And I will connect it straight down to the joining allowance like so. Then on this point, I will go in by 1/2 inch and go out by 1/2 inch to form a dart. Then I will go up by 1 inch from this my bust point. I will extend the line like so and connect it to the dart like so. Then on this waist area, I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch. This is to remove any form of bulginess on the waist area. I will mark it. Then I will connect like so. Then I will take my zipper allowance. On the waistline, I'm going to start from the 1/2 inch I went in with to take my zipper allowance, and I'm using 1.5 inches for my zipper, and I will continue like so. I'll go ahead and connect. Then the next thing is to get my neck curve, and I'm going for a V-neck, so I'm going to come down by 3 inches from my neckline. You can come down by 4 inches. You can maintain your bust line, and you can give it any shape, any neck curve of your choice. It purely depends on you. Then I'll go ahead and connect it like so. All this part will be cut off. I will take my bust measurement, divide by 4 plus 2 inches for same allowance. I will mark it. On the waistline, I will take my waist measurement, divide by 4 plus 2 inches for joining. I will replace this dart here, then I will mark it. Then I will connect to serve as a guide for cutting. This is all for drafting. I'll go ahead and cut. So guys, this is it for the back panel. It is that simple. We now move over to the skirt part of the dress. The first thing is to draw a line as my baseline. Then I will come down by 8 inches for my hip line and come down by 21 inches for my full length. Then I'm going to add extra 2 inches for hemming allowance. I'll draw the lines. Then the next thing is to take my waist measurement, divide by 4. Then I will add 2 inches for same allowance. I will mark it. Then on the hip line, I'm going to take my hip measurement, divide by 2. My hip measurement is 42, so if I divide by 2, it will give me 21 inches. That's 21 for the back and 21 for the front. But we are not going to apportion it that way because human body is healthier behind. So we're going to remove 1 inch from the front panel and add it to the back panel. So 21 inches minus 1 inch, it will give us 20 inches. So we are going to work with 20 inches for the front panel. Then while going to the back panel, we'll be working with 21 inches plus 1 that we remove from the front panel. Are we on the same page? Then I will mark the same thing on my full length line and of course my hemming line. Then on the full length line, I'm going to go in by 1.5 inches to give it a pencil effect. You can leave it that way. You can go in by 1 inch. You can go in by 2 inches. It depends on how you want it. Then I will connect. I will first connect my hip line down to my hemming allowance line with a straight ruler. Then I will use my curved ruler to connect my waistline to my hip line. This is all for drafting. I'll go ahead and cut. Then I'll go ahead and place my top on the skirt part like so, making sure that the waistlines are aligning, as in the waistline of the top is on the waistline of the skirt part. Okay, then I will trace it out like so. Then on this part, I'm going to go up by 1/2 inch for my joining allowance. I will trace it all through the line like so. Then I'll go ahead and cut. So guys, this is just it for drafting an off-shoulder gown with a Basque waistline. I now move over to the back panel. This paper is on fold. So the first thing is to draw a baseline which will serve as my waistline. Then for the hip line, I'm going to go down by 8 inches like we did on the front panel. I'll go down by 21 inches for my full skirt length and add 2 inches for hemming allowance. I'll go ahead and draw the lines. Then I'm leaving about 2 inches here for my zipper allowance and for my hip curve. I will draw the line. The next thing is to insert my dart. So I'm going to take my nipple to nipple measurement, divide by 2. Mine is 3.5 inches. I will mark it. Then to get where the dart will stop, I will come up from my hip line by 1 inch. I will mark it. Then I will draw the line. Then I will go in by 1/2 inch and go out by 1/2 inch to form a dart. I will connect like this. Then I'm going to add 1/2 inch to the waistline for my joining allowance. I will draw the line. Then I will extend the dart straight up to the joining allowance line. Then on the hip line, I'm going to go out by 1/2 inch. This is to give it that curvy effect. If the difference between your hip line and your waistline is above 10 inches, you go out by 1 inch. That is if your waistline is 30 and your hip line is like 42. That's 12 inches difference. You are going to go out by 1 inch. But if the difference between your waistline and your hip line is from 10 inches down, you go out by 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to connect it to the waistline like so. Then from this hip line, I'll go down by 5 inches. Then I will still connect this my hip point to meet it like so. Trust me guys, this formula works for all sizes and all shapes. The next thing is to take my waist measurement, divide by 4. I will replace this dart here plus 1 inch seam allowance. I will mark it. The next thing is to take my hip measurement. And the hip measurement we are working with is 42 inches. 42 divided by 2 will give me 21 inches. That's 21 for the front and 21 for the back. But remember that we removed 1 inch from the front panel. So that 1 inch we removed from the front panel, we are going to add it to the back panel. Hello? Are you following? That is, we are working with 42 inches as my hip measurement. 42 divided by 2 will give me 21 inches. That's 21 for the front panel and 21 for the back panel. But we removed 1 inch from the front panel. So that 1 inch we remove from the front panel, we are going to add it to the back panel. That's 21 for the back panel plus that 1 inch. It will give us 22 inches. Then 22 divided by 2 will give us 11 inches because this pattern paper is on fold. So I'm going to start taking my measurement from that 1/2 inch we came out with. So I will measure from there to get 11 inches for my hip measurement plus 1 inch for seam allowance. It will give me 12. I will mark it. I will mark the same hip measurement on my full skirt length and of course my hemming allowance line. Then on the full skirt length, I'm going to go in by 1.5 inches to give it that pencil effect like we did on the front panel. And I will mark it and mark the same thing on my hemming allowance line. Then I'll go ahead and connect like so. Then on this waist area, I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch. This is to remove any form of bulginess on the waist area. Then I will connect it to meet the hip point like so. Then the next thing is to insert my zipper allowance. On the waist area, I will take my zipper allowance from the 1/2 inch I went in with. I'll go on like so. Then I will go ahead and connect. So guys, this is all for drafting. We'll go ahead and cut. Then I'm going to place the back part of the top on the down part like so. Then we are going to use the 1/2 inch to join them together. So after joining, this is how it's going to look like. You can see how perfect it came out. So guys, this is all I have for you for today. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like, comment and share. See you in my next video. Bye.